If a human raced face first into a tree at 15 miles per hour, it would end up in a severe concussion, but the birds visiting your backyard do it up to 12,000 times a day. They endure an impact force of 1,200 Gs. To put that in perspective, football players face severe trauma at just 100 Gs. So how do backyard woodpeckers survive being living jackhammers without turning their brains to absolute mush? Today we're looking at the sci-fi anatomy hidden inside these birds and how to spot the 3 most amazing woodpecker species right outside your window. Let's start with the smallest member of our lineup, the Downy Woodpecker. Barely larger than a sparrow, this tiny titan is a frequent visitor to backyard suet feeders. You can spot them by their clean, white bellies, checkered black and white wings, and if it's a male, a bright dash of red on the back of its head. Because they are so small, they can forage on tiny weed stalks and thin branches where heavier woodpeckers can't go. But don't let their size fool you. They might be small, but they punch way above their weight class. If you look closely at a woodpecker's beak, the lower half is actually slightly longer than the top half. When the downy strikes a branch, the microscopic unevenness acts like a lightning rod for shock waves. It forces the impact energy downward into its powerful neck and chest muscles, completely bypassing its skull. It's brilliant mechanical engineering scaled down to a bird that weighs less than a single slice of bread. But while the downy is pretty quiet, our next visitor is incredibly loud, handles way more impact, and honestly, it has a name that makes no sense. This is the red-bellied woodpecker. Now, you look at this bird and see a brilliant red cap stretching all the way down its neck. You're probably wondering, why isn't this called the red-headed woodpecker? Well, a completely different, much rarer bird already took that name. If you get a lucky angle in perfect sunlight, you'll see a faint, blushing pink wash on its actual belly. Red-bellies love deep woods and loud drumming, and their ability to hammer deep into hard timber brings us to the craziest anatomical secret of all, the tongue seatbelt. A woodpecker's tongue doesn't just sit in its mouth. It is so incredibly long that it actually exits the throat, travels under the jaw, wraps completely around the back of the skull, and anchors inside the nostril. When a red-bellied winds up to smash a tree, muscles tighten this wrapping structure, called the hyoid apparatus. It acts like a literal seatbelt, locking the skull tightly in place so the brain can't wobble or rotate during impact. They are quite literally wrapping their tongue around their brain to protect it. It's wild, right? But while the red belly uses that tongue harness to blast through solid wood, there's one member of the family that breaks some of these rules. Meet the northern flicker. You're more likely to find them hopping around in your yard because they're fanatics for ants, eating up to 5,000 a day. But even though they spend their time digging in soft dirt and rotting logs, they still have to protect their heads, and that brings us to their built-in packing peanut, spongy bone. Unlike a human brain, which floats loosely in fluid and can slam against the skull causing a concussion, a woodpecker's brain fits completely snugly inside the bone cavity. There is no room to move. Even better, the bone at the front of the flicker's forehead is made of a porous, spongy material. It compresses slightly with every strike, absorbing the residual energy like a high-tech running shoe absorbing the impact of a pavement step. So the next time you hear loud drumming echoing through your neighborhood, or look out and see a downy, a red-bellied, or a flicker visiting your yard, remember, you aren't just looking at a bird looking for a snack, you are looking at one of the most remarkably engineered, shock-absorbing marvels in the entire natural world. If you want to bring these living jackhammers to your yard, put out a high-quality suet block or a tray of raw peanuts. They'll find it in no time. Which of these 3 is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. Smash that subscribe button for more backyard wildlife secrets, and we'll see you in the next video.